Welcome to the Darn Good Yarn DIY Peacock Stuffed Animal video tutorial. I'm going to take you through the basic stitches and techniques you will need to complete this project. This includes magic ring, single crochet, chain, double crochet, half double crochet, and more. Let's get started. Magic ring is one of the beginning stitches that is used to make everything for this project except the eye base. To make a magic ring, first you will need your yarn, your crochet hook, and then when you start working your stitches, it's a good idea to mark the first and last stitch when you are just beginning and using these stitch markers. You can also use a paper clip or a scrap piece of yarn, anything you have available to mark the first and last stitch. So to make your magic ring, you're going to take the tail of the yarn, that's the very end, and you're going to make a loop. And with this loop, you want the working end of yarn, that's the yarn that's attached to the ball, to loop over top of the tail, like this. So now I'm going to take that and put it in my non-dominant hand, pinching that loop at the bottom. Take my crochet hook, put it through the loop we created from front to back. I'm going to switch, pinching that loop over to my dominant hand. And then I'm going to hold tension in the yarn. Holding tension in the yarn is as follows. Take your non-dominant hand, spread your fingers out, bring the yarn between your middle and your ring finger, up and around your ring finger, under the middle and above your pointer. You want to be close enough to the loop that you can pinch it without a lot of slack here. Holding tension in the yarn helps to make your stitches nice and even. So to finish up my magic ring, I'm going to take the crochet hook in my dominant hand. I'm going to do yarn over, so I'm going to dip the crochet hook under that yarn coming over my pointer finger and catch it in that notch in the hook, pull it through the center of that magic ring, so there's one loop on the hook. And then I'm going to repeat that, yarn over by dipping the crochet hook under the yarn, and I'm going to pull it through the loop on the hook. And now we have our magic ring ready to go to start our single crochets. To work single crochets in a magic ring, you will do the following steps. First, get tension in your yarn in your non-dominant hand. So that's putting our non-dominant hand out in front of us, bring the yarn between the middle and ring finger, up and around the ring finger, under the middle, and over the pointer, making sure you're close enough to where you're working that you can pinch it without a lot of slack in the yarn running above your pointer finger. So now we have tension established. We're going to work a single crochet in the magic ring. To do that, we take our crochet hook, put it down through the center of the magic ring. We're going to do yarn over. So we dip the hook under, we catch the yarn that's coming above the pointer finger, pull it up through the center of that magic ring. So there's two loops on the hook. We dip the crochet hook under again, yarn over, and we pull through both the loops on the hook. That is our first single crochet. And it's a good idea when you're starting to work to mark your first and last stitch or first or last stitch. So I'm going to work another single crochet. I'm going to dip the crochet hook through the center of the magic ring. I'm going to do yarn over, pull through the center of that magic ring, two loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook. One more time. Yarn through the center of the magic ring, yarn over, so catch the yarn, pull up through the center of the magic ring, two loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through two. And you'll want to mark your last stitch as well, and then you're ready. Once you have the correct amount of stitches, To tighten up your magic ring, you're going to pull on the tail. You can see that tightens up the ring, and you're ready to work the second round. To work a single crochet in the round, you will do the following steps. Pick up your crochet hook in your dominant hand, hold tension in the yarn, up and around the ring finger, under the middle, above the pointer, close enough to pinch where you'll be working. And now we're going to work single crochet. So we've completed round 1 of our magic ring, marked our first and last stitch. Now to work single crochet in the round, you're going to go into the top 2 loops of the stitch of the previous row to begin working your new stitch. So take your crochet hook. We've marked the first stitch of the next round so we can easily see where to go. You take the crochet hook, put it through both of those top loops of the stitch of the previous round, yarn over, pull through, so there's 2 loops on the hook, dip the crochet hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's our first single crochet of the new round. So I'm going to take the stitch marker, move it to that new first stitch, and I'll repeat again for as many stitches as I need for the round. If you're going to be working 2 single crochet in the same stitch, that just means that you will go back into the same stitch where you were working. So we are going to go back into that same top 2 loops of the previous row, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So this is 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. You can create a chain of crochet stitches using the following steps. Pick up your crochet hook in your dominant hand, hold tension in the yarn in your non-dominant hand, up and around the ring finger, under the middle, above the pointer, close enough to pinch your work. To create a chain, you do yarn over and pull through the loop on the hook. So that's yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Now this will be a chain 3 since we did that yarn over and pull through 3 times. To slip stitch, you will take the crochet hook in your dominant hand, hold tension in the yarn with your non-dominant hand. You will put the hook through the top 2 loops of the stitch of the previous row, yarn over, pull through, and immediately pull that yarn over through the loop already on the hook. One more time for slip stitch. That's hook through the top 2 loops of the stitch of the previous row, yarn over, pull through, and immediately pull through that first loop on the hook. Another stitch you will need to know is single crochet 2 together. How you make single crochet 2 together is pick up your work, hold tension in your non-dominant hand, holding your crochet hook in your dominant hand, and I'm about to start a new round where I will be doing single crochet 2 together. So to do that, you start off like a normal single crochet. You put your needle through the top 2 loops of the previous round, yarn over, pull through. But before you do yarn over and pull through again, what you do is you go into the next stitch over, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, and then you do yarn over and pull through all 3. Single crochet 2 together decreases stitches without creating a gap. I'll show you one more time how to do single crochet 2 together. You take your crochet hook, you put it through the top 2 loops of the previous round, yarn over, pull through, you take your hook again into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, and then finally
yarn over, and pull through all 3 of those.
Another scale you'll be using for the body, feather for tail, wing, and the crest is changing yarn colors. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, you want to make sure you are starting at the last stitch before you need to change colors. So for instance, this is the feather for tail. So I am about to work my last single crochet in the magic ring for a total of 6. So I'm going to do yarn through, hook through the center of the magic ring, pull up a loop, and before I finish my single crochet where I would do yarn over and pull through 2, I'm going to get my new color of yarn, which is the light blue. I'm going to place the yarn on the end of the hook. I'm going to drop the old color of yarn so it's just hanging back behind here. I have my new color on the hook, and I'm going to pull it through those 2 loops, acting as the end of that single crochet. And now I have the new color of yarn ready to go. And how I'll use it is the same as the old color of yarn. So the next step for round 2 for the feather for tail is to change to the light blue yarn and then 2 single crochet in each stitch around. So I'll just start working with that new color of yarn, and I'll do 2 single crochet. So this is my first stitch of round 1. So I'm going to go hook through under those 2 loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And you can see, I'm going to repeat that since it's 2 single crochet. You can see when we switch colors this way, there is no jog, which means a sharp point where you can sort of see where the colors change. So I'm going to keep working for 2 single crochet in each stitch to show you how it looks at the end of the round. So you can see here, there's a nice change of colors without any gaps that have the old color coming through. How we make a half double crochet is as follows. Take your crochet hook in your dominant hand, hold tension with your non-dominant hand. To start your half double crochet, first you will do yarn over before you go through the loops of the previous row. So that's yarn over through the top 2 loops of previous row, yarn over again, pull through 3 loops on the hook, then yarn over and pull through all 3. Again, that's yarn over through the top 2 loops of the previous row, yarn over, pull through 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. For creating the peacock toe, you will need to know how to make a double crochet. Double crochet is similar to half double crochet with 1 extra step. So we take our crochet hook in our dominant hand, hold tension in our non-dominant hand, and then to work a double crochet, yarn over, then we go through the loop of the previous row, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through only the first 2 loops on the hook, 2 loops remain on the hook, then yarn over and pull through those final 2. I'm going to show you again how to do double crochet. So that's yarn over through the top 2 loops of the previous row stitch, yarn over, pull through 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, only pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops remain on the hook, yarn over, and pull through 2. at the end of a crochet piece, when we are finished crocheting, you're going to want to fasten off. And how you fasten off is after your last stitch, when you have one loop on the hook, you're going to cut a tail, and most of the pieces you'll be making will need a long tail for sewing together. So cut a long tail, and then you're going to take that tail, do yarn over, and pull it all the way through that loop on the hook, which will fasten it off and get it ready for the next step, which is sewing together. Sewing and finishing and trimming your ends are the final steps of making your DIY peacock. So to sew together, you're going to take the needle, thread it onto your tail of yarn, and I'm going to be sewing together these two tail feathers. We put them wrong sides together, and for the tail feathers you want to leave the bottom open for a gap, and you're going to be making 5 pairs of these feathers. You can use the sewing principles I'll show you here to apply to sewing all the other pieces to the body as well. So I have a needle and the thread. I'm going to start by going through the same side that the tail is on, and I'm going to pick up a loop from the opposite side, pull it all the way through. Then I'm going to go through the same side facing the opposite direction I just came from, so towards that direction. And then I'm going to go same direction on the opposite side, pulling it tightly each time, making sure that there are no tangles. So again, I had the needle go through facing away from me, so now it's going to be coming towards me. Same side as the tail is coming through. Then I put it through the opposite side, pull it nice and snug. I'm going to keep working. Work all the way around, and then when you're finished, you fasten off and you trim any excess tails. Now for the tail feathers, you do want to leave some of the tail there because you're going to have to sew it to the tail base. But otherwise, you would trim the tail off completely. To embroider the eye onto the eye base, first take your black yarn and your needle, thread that black yarn onto your needle, and start passing your needle through the eye base that you've already attached to the head of the peacock. Pull that yarn all the way to the end, then tie a knot at the end of the black yarn to secure it. After your knot is tied, you're going to begin to pass the needle with the black yarn through the eye base to create the embroidery for the stitches of the eye. You're going to do this as many times as you feel is necessary to create the correct size of eye. When you're done making these stitches, you will fasten off, and then you can pass the needle directly through the head to the other side of the eye base and do the same to create the other eye.